Yeah, everyone, this is Thermite, and this is Souboutei Must Be Destroyed, chapters 21 and 22. So I've been thinking a lot about Takaha recently. Specifically, why is it that he is the main character? Like, hear me out. But at first I was wondering, how is he going to get out of this painting? And the more I thought about it, the more I realized, like, okay, well, why don't I think he can't get out of the painting? It's because all of these other people who are paranormal investigators, who are people who fight the paranormal, the Seer sisters, none of them were able to get out. So why would Taka be able to? Like, is it just because he's the main character? That got me thinking, like, why is he the main character? And I realized this is a painting. He's an illustrator. Perhaps he'll have some sort of interesting way of dealing with the trauma of the painting, or maybe he'll just be able to interact with it differently. That's the thing, like, in a series where Rokuro exists, and Rokuro is a fantastic potential main character, in a series where Seiichi exists, who is related to Tsutomu, like, Seiichi is also a really cool idea for a main character. Kurenai, not so much, but, like, she's still compelling on her own. Like, why would Tsutomu Taka be, like, the main character? And it made me think, like, I think it has to be because of his job as an illustrator. We haven't really touched on it in quite a while, but especially because they're in a painting. I feel like that's going to happen. We don't know that much about the man who owned Souboutei, like the building itself, but I believe there's like an art connection there too. So I feel like that's going to be it. Like everyone else can help with, the zombies and the other like direct paranormal threats. But I feel like the reason why Tsutomu is the main character is because he'll understand like the soul of Souboutei. So that's my prediction. Let's see. Oh, yeah. I mean, this is also a series where I don't think people are going to be resurrected. So Morita is gone, and like we don't have that big of a cast, honestly. So I'm really worried. Like, just in terms of going forward, like, are we gonna have just more military people join in? Like, are they gonna replace Morita, or is he just gone? Like, is his role in the story gone, and it won't be replaced by anyone else? Okay. There's a sound, and that way's bright. Oh my god, actually, okay. So, I feel dumb for saying all that at the start. I have a way better idea now. Everyone else, like, they either ignored the painter or they yelled at him, or, just in general, like, they were pretty dismissive, and then they just delved right into the fantasy. What if he draws his own thing on the portraits? That's what, like, it's either that or, like, he'll look at it or he'll communicate with this person. I feel like there's gotta be something there, like, something that only Tsutomu would do, something that no other character would possibly even think about, but it's natural to him. But I'm curious. Okay, this is the turning point. This is the moment that everyone else had to some extent. Like, oh, no one would paint here. It's too dark, whatever. But he's gonna run over? Yeah. Oh, he even looked at the painting itself. An abstract piece. Like, I assumed he would look at it and see, like, his trauma already painted out. This might actually be bad. I was thinking of this as a positive, but if he's going to piss off this person, he might end up in a really, really bad fantasy. Of a body, the external sides of an illness within are called symptoms, and from those symptoms... Okay. Also, this looks a lot like Jupiter. Like, that's what immediately jumps to mind here, specifically because of this. Like, it looks like the red eye of Jupiter. My artistic expression is nothing more than a medical examination. So, whoever this is, I don't think this is the owner of Souboutei. Like, I'm trying to remember, like, the one image we have of him, but he wasn't this slim, I think. This person looks like he could be, like, someone else who potentially lived in the mansion. I mean, it could be, actually. Like, maybe this is the young version of him? Oh, and even after trying to dismiss Tsutomu, he's gonna respond. There's always a gap between the artist's perception and the viewers. It can really suck. That's true. He did have that problem with that series he was trying to pitch really early on with his editor, where his editor was like, well, no one's gonna check this out. Like, it's way too dark and morbid. Like, you're aiming it at kids, but it's nothing that a kid would actually want to check out. Ooh, and even tossing in a quote. Ooh, the publisher always like, yeah, your drawings are too dark and it's too self-indulgent. That was the other thing, that the thing he made before was ridiculously self-indulgent. Will they become friends? That'd be cool. I've been told similar from other artists. They just say your work is a rehash of French Expressionism. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Because, yeah, I'm definitely certain that Like I'm thinking about it like a video game, like where the paintings are like one level, and then beyond that, there's like other problems. I assume they're each like controlled by a specific ghost, perhaps. In which case, I think it'd be very Tsutomu-esque to just befriend the man who controls all the paintings. Aw, you're a handsome guy. Oh boy, is this a new ship? Probably not. But I mean, I could see myself shipping it. Like they contrast each other really well, and even like Stomu's got the very like dirty but otherwise white shirts, and this guy has a very black turtleneck. Okay, fair enough. Yeah, nowadays everyone just colors digitally, you know. Okay, yeah, they've actually bonded. Like he doesn't want Stomu to leave, which could be a bad thing, but the way he's acting, it seems like this is the first friend he's made in a long time. But I also do appreciate that as much as Stomu is getting carried away, like that is a very fun, bubbly character trait of his. At the same time, he understands like his friends are in danger. Like he's willing to take a moment to bond with someone. That's part of what makes him such a great guy, but he's got priorities. In return, in the event that he managed to return, he will speak with me about arts. Oh. Okay, so he's outright just asking, what is the thing you're most afraid of? Probably the same thing you are. Okay, that feels way too familiar. I don't know if I would ever say that to someone. Like, I don't want to get too derailed on this with my own personal thoughts. Just, that does seem like a really strange answer. Everything else Tomu said has been very, like, understandable. This is actually kind of weird. Can you not even grasp simple order of operations? Okay, so, this is his past. Stomu is actually, like, okay, so it's the same thing as usual, actually. Like, if you break it down, all of this is longer than what the other people did, where they looked at the painter and then left, but it's still the same thing. So the painter didn't let him go or anything. Okay, so it still comes down to Tsutomu to figure out a way out of this. Damn it, there goes my theory. I honestly thought that, like, the painter would have let him go completely, like, actually out of the painting. Okay. So it's not even like, oh, he's just the teacher at this school. It's like, it's their school. Yeah, like, he's the principal. My gosh. I don't know if it could be considered a sort of favoritism, but Dad was especially harsh to me. And I can definitely understand, like, if this is how you've been introduced to logic-based problems, I can understand why you would be, like, you know, not super into logic-based problems. Why you'd be more of an artist. Jeez, this is really rough. Oh god, okay, that is actually terrifying. Like, I think the thing that really scares me about this is that you can see, like, the outline of his dad, you know, about to hit him again with the bamboo sword. And, like, even that, like, his face there, but then it's been warped, like, I feel like it's a combination of his dad leaning over and also his dad, like, getting ready to hit him with the sword. Like, the two positions he was most scared of fused together. Oh, jeez. It looks so good, though. Like, it is terrifying, but it reminds me a lot of, Guts' inner demon in Berserk. Like, the way that one eye is, like, super wide and the other is just, like, a slit, and the entire perspective is super warped. Oh, I didn't even notice that the eye is actually, like, it bleeds into the teeth. Oh, that's gorgeous. And, like, the way that you could see this part as the eye, but you could also, like, if you look back a bit, you can tell, no, clearly, this is supposed to be the iris, this is the pupil. Oh, it's gorgeous. Like, I appreciate any, like, heavily brush influenced arts that also has a lot of detail to it, because there's like a really, how do I put this, there's a fine line between brushwork that like looks super impressive and brushwork that just looks like a bunch of smears. Even if the artist is putting in like intentional detail, it can be lost very easily, especially like in a situation like this where I believe it's the physical manga being scanned. Like, if it's not properly cleaned, it can look real messy. So I'm glad that I can appreciate this much detail. I'm sure that some of it's being lost, like, especially if you look over here. Like, I can't tell if the way it bleeds into the background is intentional or if it is, like, lost detail. But either way, like, the important part of it is very visible. Is this it? Is he done? Because there is the alternate thing of Stomu doesn't get out of this alive, and then Kurenai has to resurrect him somehow. Oh? But by now, sorry, it's in the past tense. And even that, like, he's using most of the ones that had died or, you know, were taken over. like they ended up dying, quote unquote. Like they ended up ending their dream sequence as children. Whereas Tsutomu, like, just kind of snapped back into being an adult. Why is that though? Is it because he's already moved on? Or like there has to be something more to it. It could be a bit of favoritism from the painter, but I doubt it. I think that the painter does it objectively. Like he just, he brings their despair to life. Now I know it's dad was scary. I've already accepted that. Okay. Okay, so he's just moving on to another one. So it's not even like you finish one and then you've broken free. It's you have to keep on going through your traumas. That's interesting. Because first of all, that means that all the people we saw before were broken pretty quickly by their first trauma, let alone anything else. It also means from like a directorial perspective, or how do you say that? Directorial? Like from the perspective of someone who is a film director, like someone who is like planning out how this chapter goes. This like it could have been just this one trauma and multiple pages of Tsutomu like working through it. But instead he chose to, like give him an early victory, which means most likely this next one is going to be real messed up. God, their house looks like complete ass. His dad was a hoarder then, right? Because like there's a lot of bottles there. I assume he was an alcoholic, but also like the trash buildup is very hoarder-esque. Oh, jeez. When it was finally about to go out of business, Dad's mental state started getting weird. Oh, man. Oh, God, that is... I can't imagine how awful that is. Like, to be fair, I don't want to say too much about my own living situation. I have been in a experience kind of like this, but not to the point of the person I'm restraining, like, seeing visions. It's usually been like, someone just acting out, but mostly they are like, even if they're not making any sense, they're still talking about things that are like, literally there. I haven't had to deal with anyone who is like full on hallucinating. They were two pits, not looking at anything, not seeing anything, just dark voids of nothing. Okay, now the line work is appearing, like, now the cuts, I should say, are appearing on adult Tsutomu. He hasn't quite processed this. I really have no idea as to what this could be. Okay, he's pulling himself back together. I'm not sure what these could represent, though. Like, I guess it could be the spirit of Souboutei. Like, these tendrils that work their way into the cut-up body. But in that case, like, does he still have some within him when they were, like, snapped off? Or is this, like, a full rejection? I've already accepted that my dad was scary. Oh, jeez. Okay, I think those are the tips, though. So yeah, he has fully rejected all of it, whatever that was. God, the bleeding blood, like the crying blood, I should say, really gets me. Especially because Tsutomu hasn't been taken over. Like, if it's just someone with, two dark pits for eyes, that honestly feels a little less scary to me than this. Because with that, it's like, okay, whatever, they're a zombie, like, they're done for. But with Tsutomu, I'm thinking about it from, like, a medical perspective. Like, what exactly is bleeding here? Like, is this severe damage? Is his brain bleeding, even? Okay, he gets it. He understands how the house works. And once he understood, he came out of the painting. So, actually, is the reason why the painter let him through? Like, until now, I thought, oh, it's because it's his obligation. Like, even if he likes the person, he still has to, do it. What if it's actually because by going through this, like, it's necessary to enter the rest of the house? Like, in the same way that when you're attacked by Souboutei, afterwards, you can see perfectly in the dark. What if the house inoculates you after, like, within each step? So, like, when you just survive the darkness, that's one. When you survive the paintings, that's another. And, like, over time, you become more physically capable of entering further into Souboutei. Because that would also allow there to be a sense of progression. Like, you can't just come up with, okay, this is how you get in, and then speedrun it. All right, wipe up that blood. Oh, geez, what's burning? What's burning? Okay. This is a lot for one chapter. I honestly thought we were done the chapter already. Or, like, with that last page. I thought this was going to be the end. I had to be responsible and deal with the fire, because I had to look after Rokuro. I mean, Rokuro survived, so this can't be that bad of an end. Oh no. Okay, this is the end, right? Yep, okay. Oh, jeez. I mean, we saw his Tsutomu came out of it. I think that Like, if the answer is just go, working past your problems, I think her and I strong enough to know, like, yeah, I did save him, or even like someone else saved him, and then I grew to become someone strong enough that I can now save him if I were in the same situation. So I think that's it. I think it's just you have to either have already processed your deepest fear, or you have to be able to process it right there in that moment. So that is Souboutei. What else can I think of to say? Okay, this is a little obscure, but there is a procedure you can have that, like, if you have frequent nosebleeds, you can surgically have all the little veins in your nose, like, cut off. Like, not cut off, but, like, cauterized. And then after that, you're supposed to not have as many nosebleeds. I've heard of people who still have frequent nosebleeds even after getting their nose cauterized, but, like, I'm thinking maybe that might be what this is. Because all the people who failed were constantly bleeding from the eyes. Uh, how do I put this? I don't mean that in the sense of, like, literally, oh, going through this means that you no longer have to bleed from the eyes. I mean, like, it might prevent you from entering that zombified state. Like, perhaps if you were to somehow, like, using shamanistic power or something, if you were to intrude into a deeper level of Souboutei, perhaps you would immediately become a zombie. Like, unless you've gone through this trial, you've fully, like, faced your deepest fear. I think that's got to be it. I think Souboutei is specifically, like, testing the people who enter it before they can, get to the final level, and then I'm not sure what would be there. Like, the series is called Souboutei Must Be Destroyed, but I doubt that Souboutei wants to be destroyed. And it seems like, I feel like this is going to be a series where the rules around Souboutei are very strict. Like, strict rules are something important for horror. If you can start, like, working around things, it tends to be a lot less scary, because then it's like, okay, I've got options, it's fine. If you only have one way of dealing with something, and especially if it's not a great way, that makes it a lot scarier. I guess that's my theory. Like, at the very end, there might be some strange desire of the house. But before all of that, it's just inoculating the people who enter it, so that they can potentially get deeper and deeper. I feel like the artist is also separate from all of that. Like, I don't think the artist is anyone particularly special. If anything, he might be the guardian of the paintings to some extent. But I feel like I really do think that when he even said, like, you may go, I don't think he gave Tsutomu anything useful. Like, I don't think he did anything positive. I think it was just like, oh, well, maybe I could have killed you here, but I'll let you go through the trial same as everyone else. But I really hope that we can talk later on. I think that maybe in that case, they will end up talking again, and he could be a valuable source of information. But I don't think he has, like, all the answers. I don't think... I said before, like, maybe there's a connection between the man who used to own Souboutei and him. I don't fully think that's the case anymore. If I had to guess, I would say that he's most likely just someone who used to live in Souboutei at some point. And, like, while they may have a connection, if there's any, like, super deep mysteries, he probably doesn't know enough about them. That said, I'm really happy that Taka did get through this through both things, actually. Like, up until this point, I was thinking, like, oh, it's going to be because he, like, manipulates the painting, or specifically, I thought that he would draw that cute cat thing he drew for Okuro, and, like, somehow that would save him. Like, but I'm glad that wasn't the case. I'm glad that being an artist did allow him to make a connection to the painter, which may pay off in the future, but actually getting through his fear was something he just had to do, same as everyone else. Like, it really did just come down to the fact that he had properly processed his problems already. Okay, well, that is about it. God, that was great. Souboutei just keeps on getting better and better. Also, it seems like Madookami is getting these chapters pretty quickly after they end up on Mangadex, but even if they don't, like, I will read them on Mangadex. I just haven't had to up until this point. Alright, thank you guys so very much for watching. Bye for now. Nya nya!